Recording now. So welcome to the first team call of 2019. Amber and I are super stoked to talk to you guys tonight about how to really use the beginning of this year to kickstart or restart your business, and really hope you guys realize like the opportunity that you have here. That starts today and starts now, and we're really excited for that. I don't know about you, but I'm just, at the beginning of every year, it just riles me up because I know everybody sets New Year's resolutions, but one thing that I wanted to touch on really quick is that I don't think that every coach knows this, is like today is day zero. Everybody starts out as zero as of today in this business. Like, our year, like, it's funny because sometimes I think of our job as like a game. Like how many jobs can you earn this like cool rank that gives you things like travel or bonuses or like all these like different things you can earn from Beachbody, and like I'm like, how many just jobs do that for you, where like you have a calendar year to like do so much with, and then they reward you with things. I'm like, it's almost like a game, but it's our job and it's amazing. But the cool thing is, that being said, we all start out at that first place today. We all start out at zero. Top 10 coaches, millionaires, everybody, they all start out at zero today. Everybody's rank is zero. So what you do with the next 365 days is completely up to you. And you can completely change your business in this next year. Where you ended 2018 has nothing to do with what you do now. And hopefully everybody just feels that fire and has that like realization that it is a blank start, and hopefully you really feel that urgency to really run into Q1, because this business is broken up by 4 quarters, and this is the first quarter. And these next few months will really take your business to the next level if you are consistent and you are hungry and you create urgency and you do the work. So I don't know if you have anything to add.
Well, I just wanted to just add on to the fact that, this is a fresh start. And I think a lot of the team, hopefully you guys, I know a lot of you are doing this, so hopefully everyone that's watching the recording and everything has actually set goals and reflected on last year. And so there were so many different platforms of doing that. I mean, we talked the last call we did, which was a couple weeks ago because of the way the holidays fell. We talked about, setting, your goals, vision boards. So whether that was like a visual template, or if you wanted to do Darren Hardy's best year ever, or if you wanted to get a passion planner, I mean, that kind of helps you get goals, break them down, and also reflect. And I think that it's so important to really get feeling behind each of these goals. So, and then also getting clear with them. So, and I don't know. So it's like for the last 4 years, I've always written down, I want to be a 5-star elite coach. And I can honestly say the first year, I didn't even really know what that meant. And then, and each year I've fallen short on that. So I got Moira's, I think a lot of you guys got it as gifts that are on here too, but like Moira's Rise Up journal thing. And it talks about really, visualizing. And one thing that I did yesterday that was really powerful was I did the 15-minute exercise where I just free wrote, like, what would my life look like if I didn't have any financial, like, just allow yourself to dream. Like, what's your house look like? Where do you live? How much money do you make? What do you do with that? Like, how are you involved in community? And it was really powerful for me to write that out and just let myself really think big. So then 5-star elite is not just, oh, it'd be great to be a 5-star elite coach. Cool. It's like, no, what does that mean though? That means if I'm a 5-star coach, I'm making more than double what I'm making now. That means that I can afford, I can start like a real savings account for my kids' college tuition. I could really pay off my back taxes, like getting really clear with like what these goals mean and how important. Yeah, it's like business goals. Okay, cool. Like I'll hit Success Club, I'll get some coaches, but like getting really clear with where you want to go. And what Kate said, we have a blank slate. So all of us can be 5-star elite coaches. Like it's really, really possible. And all the time, people are coming into this business that started out, like, I think back to where coaches were at the beginning of last year that have like finished the end of the year, like 15-star when they started out 5-star or something, so there's so much potential for all of us. And so I think it's really important, if you haven't done any goal setting, just because it's the first doesn't mean you can't do that right now. So I just encourage you guys, if you haven't yet, to really get clear on what your goals are and what they mean to you. Because I feel like that's why I love Moira so much, because there's so much about vision. Like, she talks so much about like truly, really believing and like reading your goals, and they make you want to cry because they're so powerful and so moving. And I just think that there's so much with this business that's like belief. I don't know. It's hard to teach that, and it's hard for people to get belief in themselves. And I think a lot of that has to do with, believing in yourself and like believing in these goals that you're setting for yourself, that they are achievable. They're not so big and far off, breaking them down so you have an emotional connection to them, but then you can also reverse engineer. So yeah, that's what I wanted to add.
On the whole goal setting, because I said it last call, but I want to say it again, because Amy just did like a little call for her, or went live in her PS group and was talking about this, that she said something that I think is so true, that a lot of times coaches are setting, like, people were sharing their goals for the year and they're saying diamond by December 31st. And she said, if your goal is diamond and today is day 1 of 2019, you need to raise your fucking standards. And like, again, diamond is not hard, especially with these coach opportunity test groups that we have, and like ways to get people signed up with that. And like explaining it even as just like the discount, like you can build your business to diamond very, very quickly. And like, that's just the kind of like the starting point. That's just the starting point for your business. You can even be like a half-ass diamond coach. You see that a lot for people who just kind of like la-di-da their business and are hobby coaches and kind of are like, yeah, I'm working the business. And then they get to diamond based off that. But like, really, you guys have an entire year. Don't sell yourself short. Don't say you're not capable of achieving 5-star or 2-star or whatever your goal is, because the matter of the fact is, like, we all can. And like, your word is your worth. So that is something that stuck with me that she said. And like, every year you say you're going to do something, and if you don't do it, like, you don't follow through, you're not you're proving to yourself you can't do it, and you're proving to other people. And I have a lot of people in my life who I like to prove wrong, a lot of people who have always questioned me, and a lot of people who have always said, well, you should do this instead, or your life should look a certain way, or aren't you, even now after doing this for 5 years, and I've proven myself like semi-successful with this, like I'm full-time, I support myself, but like I still have people who are like, okay, so what are you going to do next? And I'm like, what do you mean? And so I have those people who I want to prove wrong. And instead of being like, okay, next year, like this year, like my word is my worth. Like, I'm going to be the person of my word. I'm going to follow through, like, no matter what happens, no matter what life throws my way. Like, I'm going to be the queen of consistency. Consistency is my superpower this year. And so I really hope you guys think about that, like what you can literally achieve in a year. Don't sell yourself short. Like, so many people come into this business working this part-time and like, or part-time and students or whatever, and they do so much with this. So be very effective with your time, set goals, but be willing to like do the work for them, and just don't underestimate what you're capable of. First and foremost, like, it's all about, showing yourself what you're capable of. It doesn't matter who else says it, who else sees it. Like, at the end of the day, you need to do this for you, and you need to do this for the reasons why you want to do this. Like, that why, that vision, you deserve to have those things. We all do. And we deserve to prove to ourselves what we're capable of. And Amy made $1 million this last year. Like, it took her 8 years. Beachbody does not guarantee any level of success, income. All of you, like, you guys know the income disclaimer. But like, she's a college dropout, an alcoholic. She was a career waitress, all of those things. Like, and she's more successful than most of the population. Like, legitimately, like most 60-year-old men can't even say that they made like $1 million in a year. Like, how incredible is that? How incredible is this opportunity that that's what she built in 8 years, but a lot of people are doing that faster now. But like, if that doesn't inspire the shit out of you, that no matter where you come from, no matter what your life looks like, yes, Amy has a lot of followers now, but she's built that. She didn't start this business with all those followers, with that strong brand, with that strong following. Like, she had to build that. But if she can do it, we sure as shit can. Is all the people. Emily Favre, we've used her as an example a lot this last year. And I just saw her income progression that she posted on Facebook yesterday. And it was like June 2014, she made $390. June 2015, she made $1,291. June 2016, she made $2,088. June 2017, she made $2,354. June 2018, she made $27,641. Like, we've used her a lot, but last year she went from like a diamond coach with the 80-day obsession test group to 15-star and a top 10 coach. She ended the year number 3 in the network. So, and life dealt her a shitty card. If you haven't heard her story, it's a rough one. And it moves me to tears every time. But again, like, your adversity can be your success story. It's just what you choose to tell yourself about it. And that just inspires me, like, looking at that, because I'm like, okay, if she can do that, like, we can all do that. And I'm like, okay, maybe by June 2019, that'll be my income. Like, that would be amazing. But I'm not selling myself short either, just because I haven't hit my goals in the past, just because I haven't, like, the Caitlin who I was in 2018 didn't achieve all the goals that I wanted to achieve. Again, year after year, I put elite, and year after year, I'm closer. Year after year, every time I get closer to what I want, but I don't give up. And it's just going into the mindset of I'm not giving up, and I'm just going to keep pushing and pushing harder and being smarter about the work that I do and what I put into this every year. I just really wanted to share that, like, no matter where you were yesterday, no matter where your business was, like, today's a totally blank slate, and you have an entire year to do something with that. But I really hope you guys see the urgency that is like Q1, and that you really want to increase your effort and increase what you're doing now, because right now too is New Year's resolution season, and it's not just January. Actually February, it's proven statistics. I remember Carl shared this, I think last year, that people are actually more like starting on their New Year's resolutions after the Super Bowl. So like New Year's resolution season goes between now and like the end of spring. Really, like, that's all people's New Year's resolutions. So don't think that if you drop the gun or whatever, dropped the ball. I don't know where the gun came from. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. But like, that you can't pick it up and keep running with it. You just have to be willing to be the queen of consistency now and post more and be more effective with your vital behaviors and show up harder, but like create that urgency. I would especially use the fact that everybody can be in Shanti's coach test group, and hopefully everybody has bought one of the accessory packs, so you can be a part of that Transform 20 test group, because everybody knows who Shanti is. Normally we're like, don't use the trainer name or the program name, but nobody can get any program without a coach right now. Not any program. Nobody can get Transform 20 without a coach because it's still early access. But the fact is, like, people will be really hyped about the fact that they will get personal coaching, like coaching from Shanti, because Shanti is going to be going live in there. He's going to be sharing his wisdom and his personal knowledge, and people eat that shit up. So if you're not talking about it and you're not like utilizing that, that's definitely a way to grow your business and also like run with urgency, because people only have till next Monday to really get in and get it all their stuff in time to start with the test group on the 14th, because prep week actually starts this week. Yeah.
And people are seeing it on social media. So I've had, I have challengers in the last 4 years. So I have people that are like 2-3 years back that are like, hey, how do I get in this Transform 20 thing? And even though they're still in my accountability group and I'm talking about it on my social media, it's still like, everyone's following so many different people. So I've literally had people screenshot Shaun T's thing and been like, what is this? So like, just make sure that you are talking about it because someone else is as well. And so, you know, even if they haven't worked with you yet, they might pick someone else to work with because they might be like, oh, well, that coach isn't doing it, but this coach is. So I'm just going to like contact her because I guess she's doing it, you know? So just make sure. And I was trying to say, I went live in my group too, to talk about that. Even if you can't afford a step right now, like there's, or you're waiting for your step to come. Like you can do the workouts without a step and you can do the, I thought everyone could access the promo workouts for Transform 20, but if you can't for some reason, like Shaun T's posting them everywhere. There's one on Facebook. There's like, I don't know, there's ways to do it, to showcase it on your stories that you are going to try it and you're excited about it and it's coming out.
I think he did a live workout today. I saw somebody posted it somewhere.
Yeah, he's going crazy. He's posting them everywhere. It's like no one's holding back the talking about Transform 20, but it's still and like when you were saying like you're going to be the queen of consistency, that I feel like that's something that it's always been important in this business, but it's like social media has just gotten so much louder. There's so much more, like even in the last 4 years, like social media, that's where people purchase all their stuff now. Like it's such like a market and there's so much noise. So I not that to be annoying, but I think that there's nothing wrong with like everything you're doing, just do it more because it's going over people's heads. They're missing it. They're not, like when I first started, it was like post 3 times a day. And then it was more like, okay, well, maybe not 3 times a day, but do your stories. And then Amy Rada, who just went 15-star, is posting like 6 times a day. And like, and I'm struggling to post 3 times a day again. And when Caitlin was we were talking about like, what should we talk about on the call tonight? And she was like, you already kind of went over this, but you were like, I want to talk about reinventing myself as well. And going back to my goal setting, I was thinking about, there's lots of things to be proud of for the last couple of years of my coaching, but there's a lot of areas that need work. And that could be reinventing myself and looking at who I'm attracting, who I'm setting up. And like, it's really great to hit Success Club every month, but that doesn't build a 5-star team. So I need to reinvent myself too. And so there's nothing, wherever you are in this business, like making sure that you're doing daily activities, staying consistent and trying new things, because why not? If you're seeing other coaches have success posting 6 times a day, then maybe you post 3 times a day. If you're going from nowhere, like look where you are right now, look at your activities that you've been doing. How many invites have you really been doing? How many coach invites have you really been doing? Because I can tell you right now, I am not hitting the goals that I want to hit because I am not talking to enough new people about coaching. So like, that's like a hard look. I had to look at my, like you have to look at yourself and like evaluate yourself. We're here as your upline to give you feedback, but it's really important that when you are like, hey, this isn't working, I don't know what I'm doing. If you're not tracking, then, we're just going to be like, well, I'm going to look at your social media and be like, okay, well, you're posting, but are you having those like behind the scenes conversations? Are you actually inviting people to what you're doing? And so tracking is so, so important, but just now's the time to reinvent yourself, like become who you want to be. Like the nice thing about it all being on social media is chances are maybe your childhood best friend will join your team and be one of your diamonds and rock this business with you, but probably it's going to be a freaking stranger. So like you might as well just like reinvent yourself to be who you want to be and put that out there. So then you can start recruiting the kind of people that you want to work with. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to be like, not hold back, I already talk about coaching all the time, but I still am just like, I hit high Success Club numbers and I'm sure you guys are like, well, that, like she sees so much success, but like, I'm not getting business builders. So I'm just staying a 1-star diamond coach. And that doesn't mean you guys can't hit diamond like this month, but I'm saying like, I got to change how because I talk to people and they're like, do you want to be in the Shaun T test group? And they're like, nah. And I'm like, who are these? What? So I needed to just change who I'm attracting. It's like you get what you post for. And so I think it's just really important to use this time to reinvent yourself and just be who you want to be. That's what I'm going to work on.
Well, and what's funny is all today, I saw everybody posting, like, what's your word for 2019? Everybody, like, I don't know, that seemed to be a trend on social media. Like, what's your word? What's your lingo? What's your saying? What's your affirmation for 2019? And that's what got me thinking about, I was like, what's my word? And then somewhere in it, and I was like, what do I need this year? And I was like, I need to reinvent myself. So that got me thinking about reinvention, and especially with this business, is that I think what happens, and I'm even guilty of it, Amber's, like, we're all fucking guilty of it, is that we get stuck doing what we think we're doing is right, and that it's like not getting us anywhere. So we get stuck doing something and we do it because it's comfortable and we think it's working because maybe it's worked for us in the past, but it's not working for us now. That is when your shit is stale and it's time to throw it out. And it's time to reinvent yourself. And it can be reinventing the way you're talking. It can be reinventing the posts that you're doing, reinventing how you're doing your stories, like mixing it up. But it is important to look at like the different ways that you can reinvent yourself. And Amy does it every year. And if you look back, and because I was like on this train, I was like, reinvention, how does this work? I was looking through my social media, and then Amy was talking about this on her live in her like PS Coach page. She's like, this year I have to reinvent myself because I've never been a mom before. So that's like a whole new stage. But then I was thinking about every year, if you look back at her page, her social media, if you like scroll through the years, like there's a reinvention that happens every single year. Like you can tell like her stuff shifts. She goes from vegan to paleo or CrossFit, like super strict with nutrition, mindful eating. Like she has a flow that she does. This reinvention that happens every year. And I'm like, that's what I need to get in the habit of, whether it's like with your invites but I think the main part is like, in what you're saying, what you're posting, and that's like your brand and that type of thing, and just figuring out what that looks like for you. And I just really want to encourage everybody, no matter where you're at, whether you've been a coach a month, a week, 6 months, a year, 3 years, 4 or 5 years, like Amber and I, like to challenge yourself to reinvent yourself this year. And it could even be that you are going to reinvent yourself with your goals, that you're going to reinvent yourself and be like, instead of being like, well, I kind of half-assed this, or I kind of put myself into it, but didn't, like reinvent yourself that you are going to show up for it. And you're going to do the work to actually make what you wanted to happen. Do you hear my cat sneezing in the background? Because I do. I was just like, but like reinvent whatever it is that makes you you, and why, like, just because again, no matter where you ended that last year, like you don't have to bring that same mindset into 2019. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And I think, like what we're saying is, you don't have to become a new person. You don't have to like, fake who you are. Like always be who you are. That's what's going to bring you the most joy, and what's going to feel the most rewarding is sharing your truth. But maybe it's like trying to look at it from a different angle. Like, okay, I've been telling this story for a while, but maybe I haven't gone in, like when I'm saying this story, like your story, maybe you haven't gone into certain aspects enough of it. Maybe you haven't talked about like what you learned from that. And I think, was it Brie Headley? Somebody did a call at one point that was talking about, she was talking about like coach inviting on her social media, and how she was like, not really surfacely telling a story like, oh, it's so cool that I get to be on this trip or something, but then started digging deeper into that, like telling a story, like when I couldn't afford to do this, I had to do this and this. And then, like, I can't even remember the exact thing, but she was basically like still doing a coach inviting post, but just getting more into the storytelling of the specifics of what her life looked like as a young, girl trying to figure out college or going into Beachbody, and like how she was seeing success. So it's kind of like, still be you, still tell your story, still the basics, right? Like the vitals, like you need to be doing a program, you need to be talking about it, you need to be sharing about it. But think about what sets you apart, and think about how you can use that as a way to encourage people. And I feel like I have like my story and I encourage people, but I get a lot of like, that's so awesome for you, but I'm still not going to join you. And so I need to figure out a way to be inspiring, but like there's some disconnect where I'm like, no, like I'm trying to tell you, you can do it too, but then they're not doing it too. So I have to reinvent myself in that way too, like not change. Obviously my story is the same. I'm always going to be like, my brand is always going to be like, I'm a mom and I work out and I like to eat healthy and like, but I need to think about different ways I can tell a story without it being like, cool for me, this is me, like, and I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but because I'm still working on it, but it's just about reinventing yourself and telling your story in different ways that will speak to people, not just have them like reading your, I don't know, like voyeuristic or something, like it needs to be really like inclusive. So that's something that I'm going to work on because like even though I'm having a baby, like I thought, okay, like I got pregnant in May and I started telling people in mid-June, July. And I thought, oh, I'm going to finish this year. I'm going to like sign up all these pregnant girls and we're going to like be pregnant and work out together. And that's going to be my shtick. And I did. I actually signed up a couple of pregnant girls that are in my challenge group right now. But that didn't happen. Like it's just interesting. So it's like, even though I'm going to the new year as like a mom of a newborn, that doesn't mean that like, I'm only going to be like helping moms, So yeah. So anyways, just think about how you can reinvent yourself, stay you, but keep in mind that like, you never know who you're going to attract and who you're going to speak to. So you just have to make sure that you are, getting into detail about, I don't know, your story in a way that you can invite people to it. And not just keep it surface where it's just like, it has to be a little deeper than I got my workout in. Like it just kind of has to, because that is not compelling enough. But you should still make sure you're posting that all the time because people want to see, that you are staying consistent. People watch, dude. Like I've had people be like, I was waiting to see if you were going to finish that program. Creepy. Yeah. And I like to prove people wrong too. Because Kate, you were saying you like to prove people wrong. And I like, if the doctor has not said you cannot work out, I'm going to keep working out because I want to prove everybody wrong. Because I'm so sick of everyone being like, whoa, you're still working out? Like, why? I'm not dead. Like, I'm modifying, but I don't understand why I'm not like a delicate, sick flower. Like, I can still work out. And so it annoys me when people, so anyways, I like to prove people wrong. So I'm just going to work out as long as I can and as soon as I can after I have the baby, for my business too, but like to prove people wrong.
And one thing I want to add too is like, we're not telling you to be other people. Like if I tried to post like, let's say somebody who, because there's a lot of coaches who are super religious. I don't think there's too many super religious people on our team. So if I offend somebody, I apologize. I used to be religious when I was younger, but like there are coaches who lead with religion. Like they're like, Christ will whatever. I don't know. Like, but who like people generally know what I'm talking about. Like they talk about Christ a lot, or they talk about religion a lot. Faith. Yes. Faith. And like leading with that, and then leading with like they live in the Midwest and they're blonde and they have like, or platinum, and they have these big poofy dogs and a bunch of kids. Like they have what you picture. Like I don't know. I see that a lot in my feed. But like if I tried to be that person, that wouldn't work for me. I'm 26. I have like, they have a college degree. They have this husband and this life. And I'm like, that's not me. But that doesn't mean that I can't take inspiration from their posts and the message that they're sharing. So like if you see a coach who's really successful, like coaches who are like 15-star coaches, and maybe you don't look like them or sound like them, but you can still take inspiration from what they're sharing and find a way to make it your own and share it. That's like what duplication is. That's what this business is built off of. And I like to think, Amy used this example with me earlier, like this year was Melanie Mitro. She gets even inspiration from Melanie Mitro, and you can literally not get two more polar opposite people besides their work ethic between Melanie Mitro and Amy Silverman. Like they're polar opposites. But like like Amy was just saying, she's like, when I need to talk, when I'm trying to attract more people to the business, I look at what Melanie Mitro is saying, and I look at like how she's sharing about the business, and I get inspiration, and I may post something that I got an idea from her, but it's going to look like two completely different posts. So I'm not trying to be her. I'm not trying to steal her words. I just got an idea based off what she said and what was working for her, because she's a 4-time top 10 coach, or top coach. She's a 4-time top coach, like 6-time 4 or 5 or 6-time top 10, and she's one of the top earners in the company. So like, why wouldn't we want to duplicate what she's doing? And hopefully everybody listened to her national wake up call. She spent like almost an hour going over her top tips for success. And like, again, she's one of the top earners and top business builders in the company. And hopefully every week you guys are watching these national wake up calls and taking notes and like putting things into practice, because it's literally coaches sharing their top tips. And 5 years into this business, I still tune in every Monday morning. If I'm not on live, I'm watching the recording later that night or the next day if I have to. But it's always a really important, like, there's always some nugget that you can get from that.
And she also has a podcast. Melanie Mitchell has a podcast that's pretty good too. So, I mean, I know we all have busy lives, and there's like a never ending supply of calls and podcasts, but you know, it's like you're doing laundry, you're folding laundry, you're driving in a car, like whenever you can, just like making sure that you are you know, doing that can be your form of personal development as well. If you're not actually like reading a book right now or listening to a book. When I was super busy and I was working a full-time job and doing coaching, I just tried to, that was my personal development, you know? So it is, and it's still this many years in does fire me up. Like I always learn something, but those national wake up calls are for new coaches. Like they are like for people to grow and learn. So, but I still learn things. So just make sure, yeah, I highly recommend that you just, and don't wait too long, because I feel like it's always, you know, imperative like information for that week. So I feel like it's important to listen to it that day, if possible. I wanted to read a couple of the chats really quick, just for anyone that's like watching the recording, because Eden mentioned that the workouts without the step are still fire. She's been doing a sample workout, and I agree. I mean, I love that there's a modifier on there too, without a step, and I've just been using it like half the time without any risers, just because I'm so afraid of like falling. But yeah, like it's still a great workout. So don't let that stop you. And then Katie said that she's definitely been doing some thinking on this too. Feedback must have been talking about reinventing. Okay, probably about commenting on reinventing posts. And then Mary said that there is a great podcast by Amy Porterfield, I don't know if I'm saying that right, about creating your story. And then she shared an episode in the group page. But anyways, anyone can look up Amy Porterfield. I'll have to check her out about storytelling, because I could always use help too. I feel like we get in these habits of like what we're talking about, and it's good to, yeah, think of it from a different perspective. Cool. I don't know if there what else we're real goal setting. Q1, just so you guys know, I literally Googled it last night. I was like, when does Q1 end? And like, it's pretty basic in all businesses. So it ends like, it's not even just for Beachbody. It's just the quarters, the way the world works in business quarters. So I think it's March 31st, which is like so soon, like it's going to fly by, but it's, there's nothing wrong with setting a goal of being like, I mean, I feel like everyone should be diamond within a month, but if say your first quarter goal is diamond, second quarter. So what I did was like, okay, I want to be 5-star elite. That means I need to be 2-star, and open my second CBC by the end of Q1. That's my goal. And then by Q2, I want to have built my second CBC, which will be me, to diamond, which will make me 3-star. And then by Q3, so basically by Q4, I want to be like at least a 7-star, like actually end the year as a 5-star. So that's just an example. So like, hopefully you're setting a bigger goal for yourself than just diamond. But if you are, say you're just like, I don't know what I have time for, like, I don't know what I really want right now, at least by March 31st, like that, definitely be diamond, just for the sheer fact that like, you'll be earning it'll just be so much more worth your time, especially if you guys are showing up to these calls and tuning in, like you're doing the work. So it's like, we want you guys to be reaping the benefits and like getting this weekly commission and making sure that you're like getting team bonus cycles. So it's not, so even if you have a bad week where you don't sell anything, you still are earning some kind of income, and that will grow and compound. And it doesn't really kick in, I feel like, until you're diamond. Like you will get some money as an emerald coach. You will get bonus cycles, but I think it's a lot harder. Like if you're not hitting higher than Success Club 5 and you're not getting like those new customers coming in, then your paychecks are still going to be pretty small. So, and I've seen paycheck, I mean, I haven't seen one in a while. I saw like a dated one that was like the average earnings of an emerald coach, diamond coach, star diamond. Diamond's so much higher than an emerald, like average wise. I mean, it depends on everyone's efforts and individual business, but like on the average, you just earn so much more as a diamond. And then there's just more perks. So yeah, I think it's really get serious about, say you want to be diamond, you want to have a solid diamond business by March 31st. Like how can you reverse engineer so you can make sure that you end January in a good place and in February in a good place. So hold on.
And with that too, like one thing that I would recommend is making it a goal to recruit at least 4 coaches a month, because then your business is going to continue to grow. Because even once you hit diamond, like you don't want to be somebody who's constantly replacing. Like you're going to be constantly replacing, but you don't want to feel like you're struggling to keep it. Like you want to keep building, and that you need to be recruiting at least 3 to 4 coaches a month to keep continually building your business.
Yeah. And you will recruit people that say they want to work the business and they disappear. You will recruit people that say they don't want to work the business and they do. Like you just don't know. And so I think, it's not always numbers, but if you are consistently on average getting 4 new people into your business, you're going to grow. And you might luck out and just get someone that's like wants to be, like go crazy far in the company. But I think that it's important to, I, for a few months, was recruiting 10 coaches a month. And then some months it would be like 4, some months it would be 3, but on average, maybe it was like 8 at the end of the year. And, not all those people did anything, and that's okay. But it's just good to remember, like, don't just like put all your chickens in one basket, all your eggs in one basket. Like you want to shoot for 3 to 4 coaches a month, but just know that, you're going to plug them into this great opportunity and be there for them. They're going to be part of like a top 10 team. They're going to get help from us, but it's ultimately up to them. So just remember to stay in phase 1, like always be inviting and like getting new challengers and staying optimistic and positive about it, because as people come and go in this business, a lot of it has nothing to do with you. So it's just a good reminder that you kind of always have to be like bringing in the new energy and the new blood, because you never know what's going to happen. Like you could have someone join and they're killing it, and then something happens in their life and they have to quit. And it just would suck if you were putting a lot of, holding a lot of like worth on that one person. So if this is a team effort, like we're all not going to get far without each other. And I hate to say like new blood, because I don't want it to feel like the current blood we have is not good, but that's Amy says it herself. She's like, you have to get a new team every year, because that new energy and those new people are going to completely recycle all the people that filter out. So, yeah.
And one thing I want to add with that too, and why it's so important to create urgency right now and really hit this launch hard with Transform 20, is the coaches who really run with this business 99% of the time are normally people who love the programs and get amazing results. And especially with Shaun T, like, you're going to get amazing results. For everybody who watched the corporate test group, like people got amazing results. If you follow the meal plan, I'm assuming everybody here is going to follow the meal plan. If like everybody here is going to do the workouts as prescribed, like you're going to follow as like prescribed, and you're going to get amazing results. And that's what I expect of my challengers too. And just know, like, with the exception of Amber and those who are pregnant, like obviously you have to make modifications. But like, if you're expecting people to follow these plans, but you're not giving it your all, that's what you're attracting. You're going to attract those people who don't give it their all either and who aren't in this. But the people who are going to make amazing coaches and who could possibly transform your business in Q2 and Q3 or be coaches by the end of Q1 are going to be the people starting with you with Transform 20. Like, if you make sure you help them get results, you support them, you're plugging them into the Coach Tess group, your accountability group, the Set Your Soul on Fire Transform 20 group, like there's so much community there. People, it'd be crazy for them not to get hooked on this, not to get like excited about this. So I really want you guys to see that urgency and feel the possibility that you have right now, with it being New Year's resolution season, with it being the beginning of the new year, with it being still the beginning of a launch with Transform 20. Like, those people, the people who come from this are going to be awesome coaches for you and will help you move your business forward. And also, like, it could change their life. That's how I like to think of it too, is like all the people whose lives could completely change from being in Shanti's corporate test group. Because like that shit's so motivating. Who wouldn't want to change their life? Who wouldn't want to like change everything with that? So I really hope you guys see the possibility there. Oh, you're still muted, Amber.
Thank you. I just realized. So after, like she said, in February, it's actually more busy. And then I feel like by the time March comes, then you can just start talking about summer. Like, then, so it's like, it's always motivating. And then, I think, Emily Favre like really kicked off her business by like fully committing to 80-day obsession. Like, she did it to a T, and then used those results to like really, really build her business. But I probably a lot had to do with that belief, because she'd been a coach for a while. And I think like fully committing, like, changed something in her own mindset as well. So I think it's just, we all know to do the programs, but I think like really, really committing and like using Transform 20 as a way to just like really like make sure you take your before photos, make sure you get all the angles, all the measurements. I'm going to live through you guys because I can't do that. But come 21 Day Fix launch, that's going to be mine. It's going to be my comeback. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to be like hobbling around doing my best to do Transform 20, because even though I can't do it perfectly, I'm going to like use your guys' examples, and I'm going to,
results for Amber.
We've already talked about this. Do it for me. But yeah, it's an exciting time. I just hope you guys are excited just for your own goals and your own body transformations, but like what mentally can happen, especially with Shanti being so like mentally motivating. Like, he's just such a great person, I think, to start us off this year. So I just hope that like everyone's going to take their health seriously, but also take how they can share it and invite seriously.
Also, I think I said this on a previous call, but if you are looking for personal development and you're doing Transform 20, if you haven't already, make sure you read T is for Transformation. Oh, Eden's got it right there. A+ student. But like, I think this book is amazing. And I heard everybody who was in the corporate test group when Amy did that call, like, they all said to read this along with doing the program. Yeah, like, parts of it totally make me bawl. So I think that if you haven't read this, you should definitely read it.
Yeah, I have it, and I've actually never read it, so I'm going to read it now. I like really bad at reading books. If it's not on audio, I like don't do it.
No, I'm the same way.
I got it like last April when it came out, because I got it like signed because I went to the live insanity training. I've had it for a long time and I've not read it.
I think it has a Success Club incentive.
It didn't. I think it was Super Saturday, right? Didn't he sign it?
Oh wait, yeah, that was
the same weekend. Because that same weekend he had him at the live insanity training, and then he the next day went to Super Saturday.
Okay, but the book itself was.
Oh.
I think the book was a thing, and then everybody brought it. I don't know. I'm crazy. What was I gonna say? Speaking of Super Saturday, this is the last thing, and then we can hop off. But everybody should get to a Super Saturday. I would love to see in the chat or post in the team page. We can start threads. But where you're going to attend, this is the first event of the year. There are people who drive like 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours to get there. Mary came from, don't you live in Montana? Okay, Mary came from Montana last time for the Portland Super Saturday. I'm not saying you have to come to Portland by any means, but look at wherever the closest one is to you and get to it, or host one for the next one. But it's really important, like, that you go, because like if you're not making it to events, you're not serious, and that's such a big part of this business. They're going to announce the next Success Club trip. There's going to be other announcements. They're just super fun, and it's a great way to hype up energy and like re-engage yourself with your business. So make sure that you are getting to one. I know Amber is making sacrifices to get to this one. I've never missed a Super Saturday, and I've been a coach 5 years. This will be like my 5-year anniversary at a Super Saturday, because my first one was the first one in January, and I almost didn't go, but I was super nervous. And then Dylan came with me, and my friend Carly and her now husband came with me, and Dylan fell asleep during it. But like it really hyped me up. And so invite a friend, invite people to come with you. You're coming to Portland. Joel's coming to work out with us. So yeah, get to a Super Saturday.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was going to make it because it's the day of my son's birthday party. So I'm going to go and have to leave a little bit early, but I at least will be there for the first 2 hours. So, and usually the second half is like a workout. And so I'll probably have to miss the workout, but it's important for me because I can make it. And, it's like, I could kind of finesse some things to make it there, but yeah, like Kate said, they announced, it's one of my favorite ones because they announced the trip, and I really everyone will find out later that day anyways. They're gonna put it all over the website. They're gonna you're gonna be reading about it on the coach pages and stuff, but there's something special about being there when they like announce it, or being with other coaches.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically there's Super Fridays. In the past I have tried to stalk. I know people like Amanda last year in Nashville hosted a Super Friday, so she found out on Friday, but she wouldn't tell me, and it drove me crazy. And I was like stalking everybody. I was like trying to Google it. I was trying to figure it out, because I'm that person who tries to unwrap packages before Christmas if they're under the tree. That was always me as a kid. So like if I know people know, I want to know. But people didn't tell me. But I know, because I'm the psychopath that I am. Anyways. Hopefully everybody got a lot from this team call, and that you're really revved up and excited for the new year. And just remember, like, you have so much potential right now. You just have to be willing to do the work. And I really want to encourage everybody to make this their Beachbody year. Like, go all in with this. It doesn't matter how committed you were last year, where you were starting this morning, but that you're committed now. It's January 1st, you're on this call, or you're watching the recording for this call. Like, you obviously want this. So let yourself have it. Let yourself do the work and believe in yourself and know that you're capable of it. And if all of us can do this, we can all do it together. And I don't know, this year my goal is not just to have like Amber and I end the year elite, but to have multiple elite and premier coaches and see more people be star diamond and like have record pay weeks and be able to go part-time or leave jobs they hate or not go back to work after having a baby or like whatever. Like, there's all sorts of change that is possible this year. And I just want to see more growth and more leadership develop. That's a big goal for me. And I can't wait to see who does it with us. So you're all capable. You all have it in you. We all do. So it's time to utilize this New Year's resolution season and get to work. So thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Happy New Year. I know it's technically a holiday, so thank you for making time to be here tonight or watch the recording.
Yeah, thanks for making time on a holiday.
Okay, bye.